All right, Eagle Nation, the Birds just got a huge bombshell at practice today. Two major reinforcements could be on the way for Sunday's game. Also, a new wrinkle in trade rumors has included the Philadelphia Eagles. Could the hometown kid be on his way back to help shore up the defensive line? And we'll talk Eagles versus Bucks, preview the matchup. Can the Birds really pull off another tough win this Sunday on the road? Welcome on into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, go down below and hit that red subscribe button if you do enjoy this video. You all have been absolutely killing it. I am truly appreciative of your support. Help us get to our goal of 5K subscribers. But I want to start off with the bombshell, man. The major report from Eagles practice today. Didn't expect it, but I need this juice, man. Jimmy Kempski says Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown will practice today for the first time since injuring his hamstring. We heard him on the broadcast a couple weeks ago saying he would be out for several weeks. Well, here he is. He is back. Maybe that's because Devontae Smith is banged up and likely not to play, and AJ wants to ramp up and get back for his team, and they don't have a lot of other options. Whatever it is, hopefully he's feeling good and ready to go. You don't want to risk further injury, but if he can play, the Eagles could desperately use AJ Brown back. He completely changes the dynamic of this offense. Also, another good sign from the Philadelphia Eagles as Lane Johnson is at practice today and has a helmet. Elliott Shore-Park says good sign for him playing this Sunday. And Zach Berman adds some more context by saying, just to clarify, Lane Johnson is still in concussion protocol, but his return to practice indicates he is one step away from full clearance, which is a good sign for his progress to play on Sunday. Which is pretty crazy when you think about it. The guy was throwing up all over the place and could barely even stand up and was getting walked off by trainers, and he may be good to go. Devontae Smith still in the concussion protocol. He is likely not going to suit up, but if they can get AJ and Lane back, it completely changes the matchup for this team on Sunday. Now, I also want to flip it and talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are banged up all over the place. Vita Vea didn't play last week. Seems like he's questionable right now, but two guys that will definitely be out that are game changers on that defense, Kalijah Kancey and Antoine Winfield Jr. are, quote, definitely out for Sunday's game against the Eagles, per Coach Todd Bowles. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers missing one of their main weapons in the secondary as well as the defensive line. They are going to need those guys and will be hurt without them. But I do want to highlight Saquon Barkley and his leadership, because we have talked about the Eagles and how they're playing on the field and how Saquon has been so great over these first couple of weeks. But these are the things we don't always think about that I think are really resonating with this team. Shout out to Tom Stakes for posting this video. It's more of the mic'd up from the Eagles, but Saquon went up to Jalen Carter and said, they are scared of you, and said words that I can't even say on this show, but just trying to, hype him up, get him in the zone, right? Get that hunger, that anger out of Jalen Carter and put it on the field. And man, Jalen Carter had an impressive performance last week, and maybe part of it was due to getting a little bit of a pep talk from Saquon. So I love the leadership. I love how he's taken that active role and just being such a dominant force both on and off the field for this team. Another guy I want to focus on is Jordan Davis, who says that he is focused on, quote, just getting better. You see, from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, 52%, 48%, 52% snaps, but look at the numbers. 0 tackles to 2 tackles to 4 tackles. Last week he had a tackle for loss, a quarterback hit, finally got in there and, made it happen. So Jordan Davis is going to have to continue to be a leader on this defense alongside Jalen Carter. Obviously, they need production out of Bryce Huff, but we saw his snaps limited this past week. Hopefully, we'll see more of the same this weekend. The Eagles' defensive line, the trenches, are going to be the major factor, the major key in this game, and we'll talk about why. And speaking of the defensive line, we absolutely have to talk about this rumor and this little nugget that came out today. I know we're focused on a game, but Jets reporter Rich Cimini put this out, and it is very intriguing, ladies and gentlemen. He says, quote, Haason Reddick is so frustrated with the Jets situation, and of course he did request a trade in August, but he's so frustrated that he wouldn't mind going back to Philadelphia. Again, heard it from a little birdie, take it for what it's worth. So this is somebody who is deeply connected within the Jets organization, not somebody from Philadelphia, right? Not what we've been hearing on the radio and on YouTube and all these different shows about trying to get Reddick back, and I've said it from the jump, you should have never let him go. But you see the struggles of Bryce Huff, and you see how he was comfortable in New York, and now a Jets reporter is saying that Reddick would be entertaining the opportunity to come back to Philadelphia. So again, I posed the question for the millionth time to Eagle Nation. Should they go out and get Haason Reddick? To me, it's a no-brainer. Absolutely. 4 years in a row of double-digit sacks. I know you'd have to bring him back and pay him, and that takes it to another layer of how would they get that done. Look, if it was a straight-up trade for Bryce Huff, I'd even throw in a draft pick. I'd say take him back. We'll take Reddick. We'll pay him for a couple years, and we'll bring him back to shore up this line. It is not even a question at this point. Not that I don't think Bryce Huff will offer anything. And oh, by the way, he needs to have a damn sack or at least a quarterback hit this weekend. But Haason Reddick is just such a more seamless fit. He's comfortable in Philly. It's his hometown. He loves playing here, and all he did was produce for this team. I understand the financial side of things, but if it is on the table, or if it's even an opportunity to go out and get Haason Reddick and bring him back to the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, I think they need to do it, because this line, although they were impressive last week, do I think they can keep it up like this every week? I don't know. They need more vets. They need more guys who are proven. But okay, the Philadelphia Eagles have a game on Sunday, regardless of who's here and who's not, and they need to find a way to get it done. They are going into a bye week after this week, which is insane to think about. But if they can get this W, get back on track, and be 3-1 going into that bye, I feel very confident about this team. Do I think they can get it done? I think they're the better team in this scenario. I think they are the better matchup. I go back to what happened last week with the Broncos and the Bucs, and it tells me one of two things, okay? The Eagles are either going to win this game in the trenches, or they're either going to win this game by running it down their throat. Now, when we talk about the trenches, okay, and I'm looking at this Bucs team, they start off 2-0. They look very impressive. By the way, they kicked your butt in the playoffs last year. That should be enough motivation in general. I know the Eagles had essentially quit on their coaching staff, but you know, you got beat 32-9. It's time to go out there and make a statement and get it done in front of those Bucs fans. But regardless, okay, the Philadelphia Eagles need to come out here and establish a rhythm. They need to prove to the Eagle fan base that they can get back on track, because even though they won last week, that was very, very ugly. And kind of similar with the Bucs here, they got blown out by a lowly Broncos team at home. The Broncos are not that good. They ran it all over them. 70 yards for Tyler Badie. You had Bo Nix with 47 yards, and they had 136 combined as a team. Saquon right now is on a different planet. I think Saquon can get 150 to 200 rushing yards in this game. Will the Philadelphia Eagles come out and utilize the strategy and the philosophy that works? That is letting the run open up the passing game, using their most reliable weapons. We saw Dallas Goedert last week have a career game with 170 yards. He can't go absent in this game. Now, A.J. Brown potentially being back changes everything, right? The Buccaneers secondary is not that strong. You look at some of these guys, Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum, they're former late-round picks. They're not that good, right? Neither one of these guys can guard A.J. Brown. I don't think any of these guys, even their linebackers who have had a decent start to the season, Levante David might be their best, and he's getting up there in age. They can't guard Dallas Goedert. So the Philadelphia Eagles just have strong weapons. They have guys who can get it done regardless. But Saquon Barkley has to be the key on the offense in this game. The Buccaneers have not really been able to stop the run. And on the flip side, they're going to bring a lot of pressure to Jalen Hurts. Will the Philadelphia Eagles spread the touches? Will they balance it out? Use Dallas Goedert finally, back-to-back weeks? Will they use A.J. Brown if he plays? Will they use Saquon? And let everybody eat in this game. I think it's important. Todd Bowles is the coach, and we've seen this time and time again. And we all remember that infamous clip a couple years ago when Jalen Hurts first made the playoffs, and, pretty much the Bucs said he was predictable. I think Jalen does deep down use that as motivation, and Todd Bowles is going to bring a lot of different looks at him. He's going to try to throw him off his game, just like he did last January. Jalen Hurts has to get the ball out, and that's really one of the other main keys in this game. The Philadelphia Eagles have to win the turnover battle. It has been a long time since they won the turnover battle in a game, and Jalen has to be clean with the football. He has to reduce the amount of turnovers. You cannot give this Bucs offense the ball on short territory. Now, another thing I'll talk about, again, is the trenches. I think that is really the main factor in this game. The Eagles are getting healthier on their offensive line. Becton's going to be able to play through an injury, but he's still going to be out there. Lane Johnson coming back, hopefully from the concussion. And even on the flip side, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have let Baker Mayfield get pummeled so far. Last week against the Denver Broncos, they gave up 7 sacks. Baker Mayfield has been sacked 13 times this season, and this is going to be a statement game, a statement opportunity for the Eagles defensive line to go out there and prove that last week was not a fluke. Baker Mayfield, to be quite honest, and it's surprising, really does not make a lot of mistakes with the football. I mean, Baker Mayfield has 2 interceptions this season, but 6 touchdowns. He's completing almost 75% of his passes. They don't have much of a run game. You have the 2 main weapons in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, but Evans still really hasn't gotten going yet. So I think this could also be a statement game for Big Play Slay and Quinyon Mitchell. They'll have a lot on their hands. They don't really have a big tight end threat. And going back to the offensive side of things, protecting Jalen Hurts will be huge. And like I said, he can't make a lot of mistakes, but the Bucs have only had 2 sacks this season. They've had 3 forced fumbles, and they've had 2 interceptions. So they're not really generating a lot of turnovers. One other big thing is the decision-making. The crucial situational football. Nick Sirianni has received a lot of heat over these past couple of weeks. He needs to make better decisions. You can't leave a ton of points out there on the field. You have to know what to do in these 4th and short situations. Can't do fake handoffs on the tush push and, give it off to Saquon. So I'm going to really be looking to see how they make changes from week to week, but Nick Sirianni has to be a lot better. Ultimately, I think the Eagles are the better team. I like the matchup for them right now, and I think if their defensive line can continue on where they left off last week, they are the better team in this scenario. But based on last week, and if you remember, I had said that if the Eagles beat the Saints somehow, some way, I picked against them. I'm 1-2 in the season, but I said if they somehow find a way to beat the Saints, I'm going to pick against them every game until they prove me wrong. Regardless, I will stick to my word. I will pick the Buccaneers to win 24-23, and I hope I am wrong. But that's all I got. Give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. What is your final score prediction for Sunday's game? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one.
On BetMGM Casino, there are so many jackpots that you never know when one will go. So many jackpots. So many jackpots. BetMGM Casino. Jackpots. So many.
Download to get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 on the house. BetMGM Casino.